Shut up and sit down.
Matter of fact, I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go?
I am ready to go.
John, are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
He sounds about as motivated as I was last week.
I was going to say, that sounds enthusiastic.
I was trying to, this last minute add-in I got to
fucking... yeah, here we go. He's going to start his bitching already.
Have we not done New England in a while? It looks like we haven't even done New England in a while.
Right.
We have plenty of time.
Dude, we haven't done New England because New England hasn't played, and then they've shit the bed.
Well,
so, yeah. I mean, it's like there's reasons I did pick. I try to actually pick the good games.
Wow.
No offense, Evan. There's a ton of offense there, but just go with it. For right now. I mean, look, do I think New England will make a comeback at some point? Yeah, maybe. It depends, man. I'm not sold.
100%.
I'm not sold on Cam yet, man. I'm almost saying, hey, stick Stidham in there. He showed signs of flashes, man. Stop it.
I'd like to see Stidham just because,
Yeah, I would too.
I would too. Hey, we're not there yet. We'll debate that in a minute.
Fantastic. All right, let's get her going.
Let's get it going. Everybody, welcome into the Pigskin Pricks. We're already well into talking football. There's some fiery debates that are going to be coming onto this show, into this week 7. So be prepared. But first, as always, let's start with the drink menu. What do you got, boys?
Yeah. We've drank a lot of beer on this show. And all the episodes, we've drank a lot. But the one thing that we have not done in every episode, and we're on episode 24.
Yeah.
The one thing that we have not done, John and I, have gone head to head. So I thought this week, in lack of that, I would pull out a Sierra Nevada Hot Bullet. Now, he did this in week 3 or episode 3.
I did.
And if you'll remember, he gave it a 7, which for John, if John gives something a 7, he's not an overly big fan of it. I mean, John's usually in the 8, 8.5,
right?
Higher 8s. He gave this a 7, which really for a double IPA, and he's really into IPAs, that's a pretty weak score. So I thought I would come on the show with this and see what I think. Now, you guys all know that I don't like IPAs near as much as John. So I'll really be curious to see how I rate this. So here goes. I have not tasted this before the start of the show.
All right.
It's a little weak for a double IPA. I mean, it's almost just more like an IPA to me. Again, I don't drink a ton of them. I'm certainly not an expert in the IPA field. But it seems a little weak for an IPA, which actually I'll probably score it a little bit higher because of that. John, he wants his IPAs to taste like a cedar tree. I mean, he wants it. He wants it to be that. I mean, just put a piece of tree in your mouth and chew. Yeah, I mean, that's how he wants his IPA. This actually it's not too bad. It's certainly not the best double IPA I've ever had. But
give it a 7 already. Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, coming from the man, in Gettysburg.
Dude, we can never agree. That would be bad. So just don't.
No. Try. I won't. I told you I wouldn't give it that high. But you know what? I will give this a 6.5, and a 6.5 on my scale is higher than a 7 on your scale. So I would say that I rated this higher than you.
Well,
how our scales
I'm more
go.
Picky about my IPAs. I think you made that clear.
Well, dude, I think you're just picky about everything. I mean, it's not just IPAs. Fair. I think it's just in general.
Right, cool.
If it doesn't give you a hard on, you're kicking.
I mean, you could just say his.
That's why Kyle Allen is so special.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, Kyle Allen almost.
So 6.5 Hot Bullet. I thought, if I can find some of the beers that John has done, I think we should go head to head and see what the scores are.
Yeah, I think that's been a struggle, other than the very obvious.
Has been. I haven't been able to find one.
You haven't done a Natter Days. I don't think I've done a standard Coors. I did a Coors Light.
John needs to do a lemonade stand.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen.
Yeah, you need to send it out.
I agree with that 100%.
I gotta get my hands on it, otherwise it's not happening.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
So mine's not as exciting, only because we had Mexican tonight. So you said it's not a whiskey. It's not a water.
Okay.
It is a mojito without any lime chunks because we probably didn't have any, but it has lime juice in it. And this is a special thing because my mojitos aren't the standard fare. They're normal. I mean, the wife makes them for me. So they obviously have the standard mojito mix. But one of the things I found I really liked, and this was because of a company trip where we were getting tequila shots, and I decided to mix it in, is I like my mojito with about a half a shot of tequila on it, and it just spices it up and gives it a better flavor. And I would call it the best mojito mix ever if you do it that way. So if you like mojitos and haven't tried that,
so what kind of mojito is that, John?
Like what rum?
Like what brand?
It's a silver Captain Morgan. I'm confident of.
Okay.
And then, because you're a tequila snob, it's not fancy. It's El Jimador or whatever. Silver.
Yeah, but it's still silver though.
It's a silver, so it's got a good flavor, right? And again, it's just to give it a little bit of a zest. It's not to be tequila. It's not to be a margarita or anything.
Oh, right.
I'm sure there's better out there, but man, I love them. This was my second one, so I decided I couldn't do a beer because I really needed. I was kind of full from eating nachos and having some. I gotta have some more mojito.
So what are you gonna rate this?
But I had fresh lime in there, it would be a little higher. So I'm gonna, because you say I like to stay in the eights, I'm gonna stay in the eights. 8.639.
Okay, 8.639. It sounds pretty delicious. I'm not gonna lie.
It's good, man. If you like mojitos, dude. Next time you go and order one, say, okay, here, I need to make it just like you normally do. Tell the bartender, put like a half a shot of a silver, whatever tequila you like, on top. Put it on top, and then you can mix it in a little bit. It's nice to have it on top. It'll kind of seep in.
I actually do like mojitos, but my favorite mojito that I've ever had was a blueberry mojito.
Oh, yeah. Flavored ones are good.
They
can just get to be a little sweet. That's why I like the tequila.
What's that?
So they can get to be a little sweet sometimes. That's why I like the tequila.
This wasn't, because it wasn't a syrup that they used. It was actually fresh blueberries. Yeah.
Ooh, that's always a move.
Which kind of have that sourness. So it wasn't sweet at all. It was actually really, really good.
Cool.
So, all right, boys.
All right. Respectable drink choices. I liked it.
Yeah.
So you guys ready to get into the fiery debates of week 7? I mean, I feel like there was a lot that's happened.
Are we talking about our picks first? Or are we getting into week
7? I'd say we always pretty much start off with the picks, and that kind of just leads.
Trust me, I'm pretty sure the picks are going to bring debates.
All right,
yes,
exactly. I'm gonna kick up the pick screen.
Yeah, bring up the board.
Let's go.
Let's get the board up.
This one's for you, Lynn.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and you even gave her a name. Some people would know her anyway, but yeah, for those that didn't know, that's Mommy.
That's Mommy. Yep.
My Mommy.
All right, let's see.
All right, so we're gonna kick this bad boy off. So we already see that Joe this week is the leader of the picks.
Woo! Damn
it! Keep doing that. That's right. He went. Ah, damn it! I hate this.
What are you doing, man?
Moving my crap out of the way.
Yeah, he gives me IT shit, Evan. I just would like to know.
I don't use the 2 monitors.
Really having an issue.
All right, I get so excited. So we all, by the way, missed the Rams and Niners.
We did.
The Rams shit the bed, and the Niners turned it around something fierce. But yeah, Joe definitely made one up on me. I'm going to give it away right away. He went 4-1. Because I'm still the leader and putting myself
by one
second.
game, baby.
Hey,
I'm coming.
One game is all I need. One game's good enough for me. I am still up a game, so I went second over Ev. I missed the Packers and the Bucks, and boy, did the Pack shit the bed.
Yeah, seriously.
So Evan and Joe both picked right on the Pack-Bucks game, but Evan, because he likes those brownies, he shit the bed big time on the Browns.
Yeah, that
wasn't too
hot.
I would like to jump in
Green
here
Bay game by 3 points. So.
And just say I listened to the previous episode, and John, you gave us so much shit on how the Pack was going to kick the Buccaneers' ass, and there was no chance.
It was
Tom Brady's washed up.
10-0.
You guys don't know what you're talking about.
Stop playing the game.
And I mean, I don't think they stopped playing. I think he got rattled. He threw a pick six.
So what the defense do? Decide to lay down? I mean, the defense just stopped.
You know what? And I will tell you this much, John. Gronk didn't look tired.
No,
he looked
didn't.
better. He looked better
good.
this week. But
It's
did you look
almost
at the
as if
previous
he
week?
was not in the game plan in previous weeks.
Yeah,
and
he looked
Tom
better.
went to them and said, "Hey, you got to get this guy in there," and they did it.
Yeah, maybe he was just finally getting into shape. But yeah, he.
I don't know.
Again,
Dude,
if you're
in
not
one
sure,
week,
go look at that previous game. But he looked a lot better. Just go look at that.
No, I understand what you're saying. I don't think it was an in shape issue. I think
Something
it was
else.
you're not because you're not part of the game plan. I think they've tried to use Cameron Brate, and he's just not as good as Gronk. I mean, let's be honest, and nobody thought he would be, but he knew the offense. Gronk didn't. I think
he's
it was
done
a
okay.
learning curve.
Right. Yep.
I think Gronk has it. And I think watch out because I think that's a huge deal. And we said it, Evan, at the beginning of the year that Gronk would make a difference. It's taken him longer than we thought.
What did he have? One touchdown or two? Did he have one or two, guys?
I think he only had one.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So his one touchdown didn't make a difference. They beat him 38-10.
No.
He could have stayed on the sidelines and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right. I'm just saying he played much, much better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Had a great game.
So here's the season standings. As we said, I'm still in the lead by a game. Joe made up a game. Evan, because he picked the Browns, he didn't make up that one game he could have made up because we were different on a couple games. So nicely done. I like it. So it's still a tight race, very tight race.
It is a tight race. I love it.
So fantasy, unfortunately, Evan continues to get lucky. He was down. He was down pretty good in CBS.
Did you see that Kenyon Drake touchdown at the end of the game? That one run won me that game.
Yeah, you were supposed to lose. I was sure you were going to lose. So I was feeling good because we were all going to kind of suck this week.
Right.
And I have Kenyon and Chase Edmonds or whatever in one league, and I played Chase because he's been doing better, even though the experts predicted that Kenyon would have a better week.
Yep.
And did I regret that? Because, by the way, if I'd have played Kenyon against Evan, I would have beat him, and I didn't, so I lost.
Yeah.
So Evan and I played in NFL, and I lost to Ev, so now we're 1-1 head-to-head in different leagues. Joe played me this week in CBS, and did he get slammed? Or did he get fucking destroyed?
Yeah,
he was favored by barely a point or two. And he got destroyed this week. Yeah. It was great, but it was my only win. Otherwise, I got destroyed by my brother. So that was.
I'd actually like to say, John, a couple things. Number one, when you have Aaron Rodgers and he scores 3 points, you're going to lose.
I did too, man. I know. I had him in a different league,
and so
it happened to me as well.
I mean, I'll chalk it up to that. And even the guy said, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers screwed you right now."
I had him against Evan, but still, I could have won if I had played.
Yeah, I couldn't have won. Dude, I looked at my – there was no way. Nothing I could have done would have beat you. But I do want to say congratulations, Rick LeCount, on your 0-5 victory over your brother. Yes.
Motherfucker lays down all season to everybody else. Hardly even plays players that are playing in the game. This week, he definitely set up his lineup. His players played lights out and just killed me. It was
he stomped your ass, man. It was great.
What a dick.
And you were talking about that.
That's the only game he's going to win this entire year.
Better.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said it's probably the only game he'll win this entire year. And it
that could be.
Me, son of a bitch.
That's fine.
I actually think he'll beat
Shut up, Evan. You lost in ESPN too.
That's the league I'm doing best at. I'm surprised.
I know, and you lost. You've taken a couple in a row now. So here's our season standings. Evan, again, is still, as he predicted early on or bragged, he was going to beat our ass in fantasy football, and he's still supporting that statement. And I continue to barely keep my head above Joe.
Yes. That tie screws me every time.
Yeah, and by the way, head to head, I'm 1 and he's 0, so that helps.
Yes.
So last week's parlay picks. I didn't update this. This should say week 6. So last week decided to put the teams we missed as well as the teams overall and who we missed. So again, 2 weeks in a row, we've all went 2-1. So we suck at gambling. It's just that one loss. Interesting where we picked the same, we were right, except for that Rams game you guys picked. That one bit you in the ass. We all nailed really the Baltimore and the Tennessee games. Those weren't even close. And like Ev said, and I agreed. Once he said Miami, I'm like, yeah, that one's kind of looks like a no-brainer, and it wasn't it was a no-brainer because they destroyed the Jets, and they even played a backup quarterback who they now are going to start.
Which is unbelievable.
And then Minnesota, Jesus, this is like my brother. Minnesota, the most unreliable team. They go against Atlanta, choke artist. But as Joe said, they got a new coach, kind of.
Yep.
And what do? They play really, really
play
well.
their
And
asses
Minnesota
off. Yep.
sucked.
Happens every time.
Bad. Though, as Joe knows, Justin Jefferson had a really nice game and did not score half my points, but he scored about a third of my points in my victory over Joe. The unfortunate part is my brother also had Justin Jefferson, and he actually put him in the starting lineup this week, unlike the last 2 weeks, and he destroyed me. So it is what it is.
Yes. So it came back to bite you in the ass. That's the hard thing about having 3 leagues is you're rooting for a guy, but you're rooting against the same guy because you're playing him in a different league.
Weeks it can get you. Yep. Yes. Absolutely. So here we are. So for the viewers, we decided at the last minute to throw in the San Fran New England game, so it's kind of in an odd spot because I was sticking it together as we were talking about beer. But here are our picks, and let's see. So I am still in the lead.
You're
so
leading.
I still got to pick first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Start with whatever game you want, too.
Oof. I'm gonna set the pace because I'm gonna say the Niners are gonna beat New England.
Oof. Okay.
Gents, who wants to go next?
I'll let you go, Joe.
Does anybody know where the game's at?
It's in New England.
It's in New England.
Right above it. San Fran.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
New England. So it's just top team. Yeah, I didn't do the full size because I didn't want to take up all that room.
I'm going to take New England.
Not shocked. I'm trying to go different here on one. See if I can't get lucky.
Okay. You know where I'm going. Look at they looked bad last week, but they only practiced once in 2 weeks. So I'm going to blame that. And if they look bad again, then I'll get a little bit worried.
Dude, they lost to Denver 18-.
I know, but they had one practice in the span of 2 weeks.
I don't care. Denver. All Denver did was kick field goals, and they still won the game.
I know. It did not look
in New
pretty.
England. It
did not look pretty.
Speaking of which, somebody dropped McManus today. Did anybody see that?
Why?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm like, are you shitting me?
He scored 1,000,000 points last week.
I know. Did anybody watch that game? Because I did.
This one's tough, but I'm taking the Seahawks.
Oh, Seahawks for me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know,
I know. We know what you're going to do.
Something in my gut is telling me to go with the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
It's a good pick.
It's not a bad pick.
Seahawks
I just think they're
winning
overrated.
at the last moment by just enough. That's why I'm picking them.
I think they've had good games against bad teams. And
the Cards.
And so they're finally
It'll be a close game.
They're coming up against the cock of the walk in the NFC.
All right. Well,
all right. So there we go. You're going to be shocked. I'm taking the Bucks.
Wow.
Oh, that does shock the shit
I
out
think
of me.
the Raiders, honestly, that was kind of a fluke against
the me too. I'm taking the Bucks as well.
You know, I think it's going to be a closer game than.
I think it's going to be close.
I think I could see this being a 1-possession game and the Raiders ultimately winning. However, I'm going to take the Bucks because how can I pick it? How can I pick against them? Yeah. You know,
John, I actually thought you might take the Raiders there, except for you hate the Raiders.
I was on the fence. Right. I was on the fence.
I thought John was picking the Raiders.
Because they had such a good last week, I'm like, nah, they're not going to keep that up.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't know. I think they're a better team than we give them credit.
No, they are. They proved they were
there's no doubt about that. I don't know if they're good enough to beat them. Now, they beat the Saints.
Right. They beat the Chiefs.
So, yeah, I mean, they beat some top teams.
They beat some good teams. Yes, they have. I'm taking the Pack. I think last week was a fluke, and I think the Texans are terrible anyway, so I'm going with the Pack.
Yeah, I'm taking the Pack. I mean, that's pretty.
No debates. No debates. Packers.
I hate it. The Pack.
How can you take the Texans? Like
you
how?
Can't.
Right. It's just pretty impossible.
You can't. Yeah.
And I got to make more room here. I'm sticking these guys up here now.
Fair enough.
All right. Great.
All right. And then let's see. We got Steelers.
Titans. This is going to be a hell of a game to watch.
This one's really tough on me because the last time I picked the Titans, and I want to pick the Titans.
Yeah.
But I wasn't as convinced last week.
Mm-hmm. Against Houston?
Against Houston, right? They actually had a nice lead, and then they let them catch up something fierce. And I think the Steelers, with also with Claypool, I think they're a little more on it offensively. So I'm going to go with the Steelers this time.
Well, you know where I'm going, so just move it right up.
Oh, I didn't copy, so there we go. Yep.
The Tennessee Titans. You're right. I didn't like what they did last week. I think they're definitely beatable. The blueprint's out there on how to beat them. You know, the Steelers, on the other hand, they just beat the shit out of Cleveland. You know, and I want to remind you guys, in our preseason picks, I did pick the Steelers to win their division.
You did.
And let me tell you something.
Far,
they're winning their division right now.
Yep,
and
far they're doing the job.
You know, I told you their defense.
We haven't had a Baltimore-Pittsburgh game, though, yet, right? So
we have not.
We have two of those to go through. That could definitely change. So
yes, I think they'll actually split that.
I think the interesting part also is, as it says down below, these are the last two undefeated teams in the AFC.
That's correct.
One of those is going down. There'll be one left after this week.
Now, and keep in mind that when I picked the Steelers to win the division, you guys told me, no, the Ravens were going to run away with it.
I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah, but they're not going to run away with it no matter what.
Well, right.
They may win it.
Clearly, they're doing well. Right, you're right. I mean, Steelers are making it. They're making a statement for sure.
Yes.
So, Ev, who you
I'm
picking?
going with the Titans. Let's go. I'm going with the Titans.
That's not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick. They're a
no. This one's
team.
tough, and it is in Tennessee. This one's really tough.
Exactly.
I think I'm also giving the COVID thing. That's another reason I'm giving the Steelers the lead is they haven't had to miss time because of COVID, and the Titans have.
That's fair enough.
Well, I don't know. It didn't look like it affected the Titans until they came against Houston last week.
Yeah. Can you guess why I picked that team?
Yeah, come on, dude. Just put it for everybody.
I don't know. Evan likes to pick the Denver Broncos. Except for last week when he should have. We all should have picked them. But
yeah, we didn't pick them.
Right.
We didn't have that game.
Yeah, somebody dropped.
All right, so there is some differences here.
There's some big differences here. Yeah.
Well, let's see, Joe. You picked everything but one game with me.
Yes.
So
again,
and you got a good chance because I think I'm picking the underdog with the Niners. I think you got a good chance there. Ev's got
underdogs have been coming in all year.
1, 2. He's got 3 games different than me and 2 games different than you. So there is going to be some either closing of gaps. If Evan nails it, he's going to close the gaps.
Or I'm going to be drifting further away.
Or you're going to get further away. Yeah, right. We're either going to close the gaps or we're going to spread the gap. So
I need to go 6-0 this week.
I think that's going to belong to me, actually. So 6-0 right over here.
You keep saying that. You keep saying that. That way we can see it not happen.
6-0 and 3-0 in fantasy football. It's bound to happen. Joe, I proposed a trade to you, and you didn't respond to it. So I was like,
when did you do it today?
I did it yesterday. I
dude,
may have expired by now, actually.
Oh, we didn't do our parlays yet.
No, we didn't do a parlay, but I just remembered that. I offered you Tyreek Hill. I thought you might take it, but
really, who did you ask for?
James Conner and some other guys. Well, it was more than Tyreek Hill.
No, because I don't need receivers. I need running backs.
See, I need running backs.
That's So it's I got more receivers than I can start. That's my problem.
Me too.
So, all right. So we're doing parlays.
Let's do it.
I think we are. Nobody's ahead. Who wants to go first? I think I went first last week. Who wants to go first this week?
I can start.
Yeah,
if you want to.
Sure. Go for it, Joe.
Well, let's start. I'm just going to start with how I've got it here on my phone. You guys are you okay rolling that way?
Roll.
Yes.
So let's start with Kansas City, Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
-9.
You're not touching it. Are you shitting me?
Oh, well, get to the ones you're touching. Get to the ones you're touching. Get to the ones you're touching.
Hey, but they're my team, so I'm going to tell you I'm not touching that game.
Yeah,
the division game, they're going to play them close. You know they are. Okay, I got to find my.
By the way, it was a 9-point spread, right? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
What's that?
9-point spread in that game.
I'm looking at 9.5.
I got 9 in front of me, but that's okay.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
They'd have to win by more than 9, so 9.5, 9 kind of means the same thing. I mean, money-wise, it's not, but for our purposes, it's the same thing.
Right. All right. So my first game that I have is Seattle, -3.5
against Seattle over Arizona.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. My second one that I'm going to take is a Monday night game, and it's Chicago +6.
I like that. I almost took that one.
The Rams.
The Rams, yeah.
Yep.
And they're -6, you said?
They're +6.
Chicago will be +6.
+6.
Yes.
That's why I like that. They may not win the game, but I don't think they're going to get blown out.
No, right. And my third game, believe it or not, is New England -2.
Yes. There we
So
go. Good pick.
that's my 3-teamer.
Okay. I mean, I have mine written out here too. So I actually also have New England. The spread I saw was -1.5, but I'll also take -2.
Yeah.
Just because that's what you said. I'll do -2
Yeah.
against San Francisco. I have
New England -2 versus San Fran. Okay.
I have Green Bay -3.5 versus Houston. That feels like a pretty safe pick.
I like that pick.
I don't think that
Joe,
game will be close.
for some reason I don't have it. What was your last one? You had Seattle, Chicago,
and then New England.
And then New England.
Okay,
yeah, which is
sorry.
-2.
That's why, because he jumped right on top of that. Yep. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. So Green Bay versus Houston.
And my last one is I have Buffalo -13.5 versus the New York Jets.
Okay, now I have 13.
13.
I do too. So
I'll take 13.
Actually,
that's
actually the game I picked. So let's go with 13.
The Jets are that bad.
Well, and Miami proved it last week, and Buffalo's a better team than Miami. So if they can't beat them by 20+ points, then they should. They should.
Hey, just so you boys know,
like they lost.
I picked the Buffalo defense up in 2 of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, you beat me to it on one of them. I tried to claim them.
Yeah, I tried either one or two. Now's the time, I think, especially this week. This is the time to grab them. The last couple of weeks it was a little tougher, but now they're facing some shit. They should be good for a while. Actually, they're getting back in division. So like I said, I did Buffalo over the Jets. Joe, I actually took the Kansas City Denver game. I'm feeling good about that game. I think Denver's thinking they're special because they beat New England, which is a chump team, and Kansas City's got it figured out again. That running game, man, was impressive.
Yeah, I think Denver's defense is better than Buffalo's. I think that.
Fine.
Plus, it's division. They just don't. For some reason, they just play close.
Right,
it's kind of like when New England was in their heyday with Tom Brady. They would go down to Miami, who was deplorable at the time.
And they would still.
And they would, it was either close or they would lose. So it's just division. It's just so hard to predict.
Maybe better
and
defense.
9.5.
Right. Maybe
I'm
better
not
defense,
a fan of,
but not better offense than the Buffalo Bills.
I can see it. Plus, it's supposed to snow.
Oh, jeez.
Even better for the running game.
Maybe.
I think I'm picking the Chiefs. I know it's a big spread. I'm going.
Yeah.
Denver
and traditionally you don't like big spreads.
No, and I picked 2 of them, but I just
like the
matchups. And then
Buffalo's a little bit safer.
Believe it or not, and this should support why I picked them earlier. I went with the Tampa Bay -3 over the Raiders.
-3.5.
That's not what I have, but okay.
All right. Well, I'm telling you.
I don't care. Well, I'm looking at CBS Sportsline. You're not.
I am looking at CBS Sportsline. That's exactly what I'm looking at.
Fine. Okay. Great. Whatever.
And these are lined up with the casino when I go to place the bet.
They typically are. I agree. Other than, I still got it 3.
Listen, if it was 3, John, I love the pick. But 3.5, I don't like.
Let's see. I just refreshed my page. Let's see. Okay, just because I have to humor you and show you because we're apparently looking at the same thing, but for some reason we're not. I'm just going to go ahead and show you that.
Sure.
3 points. Right here, latest. Opened at 2.
That's not what I'm showing here.
I know, but this is CBS.
Yeah, I know, John. I'm on CBS.
So that's all I can show you. And I just hit refresh on my browser. So that's a fresh new. I'll even do it again if you want. So are we going with 3 or 3.5?
You tell me. I mean, you go with
the only one with that game. So
what's that?
There it is. It still says 3. So we'll stick with 3.
I guess
all right,
3.
go with 3.
All right.
We're not playing against the spread anyway, are we?
No, like I said, no, we are on the parlays. That's the whole point. And again, because a 3 wouldn't win it for us, it wouldn't do us any good. 3 versus 3.5 is kind of not a big deal, because if Tampa won by 3, I wouldn't have got that pick. I would have got 2 out of 3. Still,
Right. It would still be a loss.
it's not a loss, but it's not a win.
Not a
So
loss.
would-
He
we
would
would-
go 2-0.
I'd be
2-0.
I would 2-0, not
Which is
Okay.
better
Which is
than 2-1.
yeah, it is, but it's
Okay.
not. It's not
So
awesome. is
yes,
my
it
point.
essentially is a win.
Right.
And that 3.5, that's bad. Because
Right, but we're trying to be right, and so that's my point. Is it's like okay, I to me they got to win by 4 or better anyway, so
Okay.
I don't
Fair
care.
enough.
3.5. But I just wanted to point out that I saw 3, and it says 3, so I'm not being crazy here.
that's fine. Take 3.
And Kansas City might be the same way, but I'll let that one go because I didn't want to look at it again. Anyway,
All
so we
right.
got our picks. Now, what else do we want to talk about? How good Kansas City's running game was? Because they needed it.
Well, I'll see. I want to see what happens when Le'Veon Bell comes in because
Yeah.
I
That's
think
exciting.
that Edwards-Helaire, I don't think he just magically said, I'm gonna go out and have a great game. I think he was pissed. He ran
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
He ran differently. It's not how he's run this whole season. He went out, he was mad, and it was almost like he was pissed that they brought in Le'Veon Bell. It's like, how
Shouldn't
fucking
he?
dare you bring this guy in? Because I've been working my ass off. So he goes out and he performs like he does. Well, now everybody, he's from the experts on down, are asking themselves, Jesus, do we even need Le'Veon Bell if he's going to run like this?
Yeah.
That's kind of the point he wanted to prove, I think. He did it. Now, the question is, they're going to ease Le'Veon Bell in. I mean, he's not going to take a ton of reps from Edwards-Helaire. The
Right.
question is, will Edwards-Helaire do the same thing this week? Will he come out pissed off? Will he play the same way he did in Buffalo? No one knows. We won't know until he actually plays the game. But I think it had a lot to do with the signing. I don't think he was happy about it. Chiefs fans, really, it's a mixed bag. If you look at the reviews, they're talking about some love the signing. Some say, why did we sign him? We don't need him. Well, I'll tell you why we signed him. It never hurts to have
I
another
was gonna
guy.
say,
No,
why
in the
not?
stable.
not.
And they
Absolutely
signed him
not.
for dick money.
Why not?
So why would you not? The guy's 28 years old. He was a Pro Bowler. Yeah, he sucked with the Jets, but
Everybody
the Jets
sucks.
sucked.
Everybody sucks with the Jets.
So it's like, it wouldn't surprise anybody if he came into Kansas City and ran like he did in Pittsburgh. And let me tell you something, boys. If that happens, you just give us another Lombardi because there
right.
ain't nobody going to stop us at that point.
It's already looking
Andy
good.
Reid, he found out, hey guys, if you run the ball, and I was listening, you'll get a kick out of this. I was listening to Colin Hurd. I don't know if you ever listened to him, but he was saying, the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes, I love what they did this weekend because they ran the ball, and he said Mahomes is like the salt, right? He said up to this point they've been using a lot of salt, which kills the taste. What they're supposed to do with Mahomes is run the ball and sprinkle a little salt when you need him, and that's what makes a complete team. Until Monday night's game, they weren't doing that. They relied too heavily on Mahomes to win every game. Now, Mahomes is good enough to win the majority of them. But he's like, listen, they get this running game going. Sprinkle a little Mahomes in with that. That is just a dangerous combination. And, Evan, I know it kills you, but I'm right.
I'm not going to deny it.
But it's fun to think about. I mean, Le'Veon Bell, John, I'm sure you were excited. I had to text you while you were on the road. I'm like, did you hear the news?
Yeah. And I had been kind of paying attention. I saw that the Chiefs and a couple other teams were in contention. I'm like, the Chiefs aren't going to get him. And then the next thing I saw is the Chiefs got him. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's.
I thought he was going to Miami, actually. But
yeah, that would have made sense.
I'm
if
not
I were
surprised he
him, I
to
would have
a
went to the
contender.
Chiefs. No, right. If I were him, I'd love to go to the Chiefs and have a good
from a
chance to win
getting ring perspective.
Right. Get a chance to get a Super Bowl. That's the place to be. I mean, going to the Jets was more about money apparently because he wasn't going anywhere.
And now he got his money.
Career-wise.
He's already still getting paid from the Jets the rest of his
Absolutely.
year. So why not just take that money?
Yeah, and his contract is less than $1 million base salary. It's like $630,000 or something. But he's got incentives. I mean, more playing time and whatnot. That's all built in. But all told, it's like $1.4 million or something. I mean, it's next to nothing.
He doesn't need it. He's already making money from the Jets.
Right.
Yeah,
And he's
exactly.
Trying to win a game. He's trying to win. Yep.
I think he just wants to come out and prove that he can still play. He's on a 1-year deal. This is an audition for other teams.
Yeah.
To pick him up. Him sitting out, it killed him, John. I mean, don't you agree? When he sat out the whole season, it just derailed his career. And he was something special. I mean, when he played with Pittsburgh, he was
people were saying he was the best running back in the league.
He beat us several times, and he was just a pain in the ass.
He sucked because he decided to be a douchebag. I mean, that was it. He was so good, and then he.
To be fair, I think Adam Gase is a terrible coach. I know he's an offensive-minded coach.
I think he's a great OC,
but he cannot lead a team.
No.
And he cannot utilize his players' skills efficiently. So that's why he went.
Exactly like the guy in New England. The OC.
Oh, McDaniels?
What's that?
McDaniels?
Yeah, exactly the same thing. He cannot lead a team. He's not a head coach, but he's probably the best OC in the National Football League. And there's just some guys like that. I think Gase is the same way. He's a great OC. He just can't lead a football team.
Right.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they lost this week.
Well, I said that last week, and he's still here. And
I know.
They didn't score a single point. Like it was.
I know.
It was set up. Get rid of him.
I know.
They got shut out, and they still didn't fire him. They're going to wait till the end of the year. They want to be 0-16. They want Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. They want Trevor Lawrence.
They may get him.
They will get him as long as
they're just that bad.
If I were Trevor Lawrence,
Atlanta got to win. What are you talking about? And
if I was,
they're the only
Jets are the only team with zero
That's
wins.
it.
If I were Trevor Lawrence and I saw the Jets sitting at the top of the draft board, I would stay in school another year. So
yeah, right. I'm going to stay for my senior year. Speaking of topics, let's talk a little bit about Tua taking over for Fitz.
I don't understand the timing.
That's a good one.
I don't understand the timing.
Nor does most folks that are, the pundits talking about it. They're like, why now?
Fitzpatrick came out and said he was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick is not happy about it.
Yeah.
So I really think this is – I can't see them winning more games with Tua this year unless he comes in and plays lights out. But
do you know what I heard? This was the explanation I got. And tell me if this makes sense. So, I'm listening to the experts. They said it has to do with floor ceiling. Okay? And what they mean by that is everybody thinks that Fitzpatrick has played just lights fucking out, right? But this last week, he threw for under 200 yards and he had 2 picks, right? Their point is that in January, you don't throw for under 200 yards and you don't have 2 picks because you don't win the game. They said Tua's ceiling is much higher. They believe, I don't necessarily agree with this, they believe that he'll make less mistakes and throw for more yards, his ceiling being higher. Everybody, Fitzmagic, they're like, yes, he has great games, but if you ever notice, the great games that he has are against subpar opponents. And it's true. If you look back, who has he really beat? He beat the Niners with Garoppolo couldn't throw off his back foot. He looks good and he'll score you some fantasy points. But as you get to the end of the season, December, January, that's where Fitzmagic becomes a problem, and he has his whole career. He's not going to win you a playoff game. And where the Miami Dolphins sit right now, hey, there's talk that they actually have a shot. Because, right, Evan, how you mentioned that there's that added spot, right? And so I think that if they were in a worse spot with record-wise, Fitzmagic would still be in there. But I think with where they're at, now, I don't necessarily know if it's the right decision. I said at the beginning of the season, I think Tua's going to make a splash in this league. I certainly hope he does. But I don't know. I think that they did it wrong with Fitz.
Yeah.
He came in, he played, he did what they asked him to. And the way they went about it, I think, was shitty.
I would
I'll agree with that.
I would think if you were a losing team, you'd take Tua in because what do you have to lose that season? Now that you got a chance, I actually think they're doing it for a different reason than what you just talked about. I think because they're kind of winning, they don't really want to win yet. They're like, let's play Tua. Because we really kind of want to end up towards the bottom of the league again this year. Let's get them some time. They really wish they had lost more and they started winning and they're like, let's just play Tua. And I do agree with the comment they said that they're on a bye next week, so they get an extra week with Tua. I was kind of curious when he went in the game. Looks like somewhere towards the last couple minutes of the game, I see some stats at 2-0 something. So he didn't go in till the very end of the game. So there was nothing in that game that showed a reason to start him. He didn't play enough.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Fitz threw a
Which would
couple
imply
picks,
that
but
they're
they were
seeing something in
winning.
practice.
They were winning, blah 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 to 0, and Fitz throws 3 touchdowns. Who cares about 2 TDs or 2 picks? I mean, you do care, but not in a.
No, but that's just it. You throw for under 200 yards, you throw 2 picks against
But is that also
the Jets.
right? Is that also part of the game plan? Because now you got this big lead, so they start playing a different style. They're a little more conservative, and the defense has to
had games where he throws.
right. The defense has to be risky because they're down big, like 21-0 in no time at all, like instantly. So I don't know that I'd blame it on Fitz, but yeah, he definitely throws interceptions. I agree because he's a gunslinger. He throws it, and sometimes it's a touchdown, sometimes it's a pick. I'm not going to say everybody knows he's not the future, but it just didn't make sense the timing. That's what everybody
right.
And I think with a winning record, even if it's 3-3 winning record, you didn't put Tua in because you think you're going to keep winning. That's impossible.
I think they just want to give him the experience. I don't think.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily want to do well this year.
I was reading how
they're not going.
In Eli Manning's first season a long time ago, I read this article earlier today that the Giants had Kurt Warner starting at the beginning of that year, and they went something like 3-1 or 4-1, and like they had a great record, and they benched Kurt Warner while they had this great record for Eli Manning. And then Eli Manning went like 1-7.
Yeah,
something like that. So I mean,
like we'll take some pressure off of him with a couple wins.
Well, right. So, but the timing of it just makes me feel like maybe this was the plan the whole time to put him in during the bye week to give him like they had a set date, like in Tua's been as long as Tua hits these benchmarks in practice. Supposedly he makes 1 or 2 like wow plays every practice. So
see that's
and maybe
what
even
I
his
think.
health too. Maybe they were giving him a few weeks instead of starting him at the beginning of the season.
Give him some
make
time.
sure he's healthy.
It's been about a full year since the actual injury occurred. So, it's just time.
It's interesting because we had a same situation in Kansas City, where we had Alex Smith and we had Patrick Mahomes
right.
sitting there, and he did sit out the whole season.
Till the last game.
Yeah, they said until he played against Denver,
matter.
right? Because they didn't need to play,
game. Right?
But it's like they knew what they had at practice. They knew what they had because they traded him away the next year. They're like, this is our guy. We know he's ready.
And we saw what they had in that last game, even if it was Denver and it doesn't matter game.
Right.
He played really well, and we're like, holy shit.
And so I don't agree with you, John. I think they actually know what they have. I think they've seen him in practice, and I think they just think he's ready.
That's my point. Yeah, I know you're going to say, well, Justin Herbert or whatever is doing well. Yeah, and the team that can't win, and everybody's talking good. He's playing good ball. Doesn't matter. They're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that.
Dolphins were winning.
Right, John. But you can't blame that on Herbert. I mean, it's kind of like you're right. Tua could go 1-7, just like Evan said. But if it's it's kind of like here's a great example of that. It's just like Andy Dalton. Everybody's like, oh, Andy Dalton sucks. It's like, well, let's see. Zeke gave 2 giveaways away, right? So now he's put the team behind. So now Dalton, all he can do is throw. He doesn't have an offensive line. So now he's on his back. Yeah. It's like, really? How are you going to blame him for that loss?
You can't.
That's
not on him.
It's the same thing. So you can play well and still lose.
Absolutely.
What sucks, though, is Herbert is really good. And I think in the future, we got to play those guys twice a year, man. It's like you were kind of hoping Herbert would come in and, shit the bed.
Right.
Be another Philip
I thought that was a possibility. And he's looking good.
Yeah. Well, we definitely weren't sold on Tyrod Taylor, so that's not a shocker. Right? This is a different scenario. This was a team that wasn't winning. Tyrod got hurt, and then Herbert played well.
Yes.
That made more sense. Like nobody was like, oh, this is a shocker.
Right.
This one is like, we've not seen Tua really play. Yeah, they have. And I get that they want to play him because he is the future. To me, it was more of, you're looking at your division and going, we got to play Buffalo, who's kicking ass, and New England, who's okay. Do we even have a chance to go anywhere in the playoffs? If not, why even try? Get this guy some time. And I think that's it. I think, hey, we'd be better off not doing well because we're not going to win it anyway and getting a better draft pick and giving him some experience.
I like what Joe said about the possible ceiling of Tua being higher.
No, I agree with that.
Miami is a fringe playoff team, like on the line playoff team with Fitzpatrick. So if Tua is better, you know what? If he ends up playing better, he ends up getting wins.
I'm putting my prediction out right now. Miami will not make the playoffs now. That's what I'm saying. Guaranteed with Tua. If they stick with Tua, the rest of the season,
didn't think they would make it with Fitzpatrick.
Right. And now I'm going to definitely say it's not happening.
I think they finish 9-7. Whether they get a playoff spot, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that good.
9-7. That's what I'll go with.
It's possible.
Joe, what do you think?
Right now, they're playing in a pretty weak division. Unless New England can turn their shit around,
which I think they
really
will.
All they've got is Buffalo. So I mean, it's like whoa.
Right, but they do have to play other teams in the NFL, and their record's not.
Yeah, let's get on to New England here for just a minute.
I know we got to talk about him. Let's hear
Bill Belichick. I don't trust that slimy little bastard because he is a guy that can take a shitty team and win. We've seen it. So, yes, while they looked horrible against the Broncos, I don't know where that game plan came from. But if you guys watched the game, and I watched the whole thing, they kept flashing up to Robert Kraft in the box. Anybody see that? The face on that man, dude, he was beside himself. He was so pissed off. And I'm sure that he let Belichick or who the hell ever know of his displeasure when that game was over. I mean, he was hot.
I really think COVID took a toll on the Patriots because they only had one practice, because they haven't been able to have any team. They haven't been able to meet in person for 2 weeks.
Right. Was Gilmore in the game? He played, right?
He was. Yeah. He was. He had been in the one practice. Same with Cam Newton. And so it just feels like it was such a you can't really do much about that. I would have expected them to still play better because it is Denver. They're not that good of a team. So I want to see how they do back on normal strength, because before Cam Newton went out, it looked like they were finding their stride. It looked like they were coming together. So if they can get back on track, I still think they're a playoff team. Right. Maybe not winning the division at this point, but a playoff team.
Yeah, as we saw with Kansas City and now Green Bay, every team can have a bad week. Exactly. It can happen. And it was in both those teams that I just mentioned were undefeated, trending up as far as what was going on in those teams. And then they hit a brick wall, and then they came back and did well. So I don't count New England out. I would say, as much as it displeasures me to say it, they still got a chance to make the playoffs. I'm not going to count them out. They need to
show something, though, John.
Cam's got to stay healthy. No, I agree. They got to come back from this, and I think they will. I think Evan's right that they're going to come back. I think they're going to still lose against San Fran because San Fran also proved that they got something going on. But I think it's going to be a
Jimmy G's healthy. They got Mostert back, Debo
Samuel back, I know. They're doing a lot. They're a lot healthier.
They got all those guys back.
Better than any other coach besides
Shanahan.
Right.
And I could see them tear him up. But he was supposed to have a tough game against the Rams. I mean, they got a good D, and they just lit him up.
Plus, they got everybody back on defense this week except Nick Bosa.
We'll see. I think New England's going to have a good game, though. Even if they lose, I think they're going to show that they'll play them tough. Contender, unlike what happened against the Denver. I just was shocked. I'm like, Denver's going to lose because they kept kicking field goals. I'm like, sooner or later, New England's going to come back and score a touchdown. It takes just takes like 2 touchdowns to be back in the game, and they just could never get their shit together.
Pete Prisco,
he'd be happy, but
he was all over Kansas City. Oh, they're going to lose to Buffalo. They're Buffalo's upset. They're going to go in and manhandle the Chiefs. This was after. It's easy to say that because they lose to the Raiders, right?
Right.
And the Chiefs just go in there
with a totally different game plan and just
so he had to eat crow, which I always love to watch after the Chiefs win because he's a Chiefs hater.
Yeah.
He was a hater in the Super Bowl all the way up. He did not like us winning the championship.
Right. I was shocked it was that much of a that game was not as close as we thought it would be. We thought Buffalo was also going to show up and play a lot better, and
We did.
they just didn't. They had moments of looking pretty good, but they did not play a good game.
No. The Chiefs' defense was pretty solid, too. They played great
Much
on both sides of the ball.
Much better than it was.
And
the
so,
week
you know,
before.
we'll see going forward from here. I really expect New England's defense to play better going forward.
I agree. They've still played well most of the season.
They didn't play bad, but you know how Belichick, he expects perfection on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a defensive-minded coach. He just expects it. And we've seen it for years and years. Even when Tom Brady struggled, it was the defense that picked him up and won several games for him. And I just think that you're going to see that. You'll see that transformation. And I think the defense will win them some games this year.
Yeah. No, I agree. I believe Buffalo is on the schedule for New England after the San Francisco
Niners?
game. And
Yeah.
I think they beat Buffalo. So I'm going to put that prediction out there
Wow.
now.
That's-
I think they're going to win their next couple of games and sort of
It's in
show
Buffalo.
everybody that they're
It's
back.
in Buffalo,
That's fine.
by the way.
That's
That's it.
fine.
Well, the
bold-
Chiefs
you're-
just
you're
beat
right.
them
That's
in
fine.
Buffalo.
Right. You are right. It is. That'll be an interesting game. When we get to the picks, I'll pick against you on that one.
I know
Hey,
you
guys,
I
do
think
you
it's gonna be a good
realize the Chiefs play the Jets in 2 weeks and the spread is 22?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
interesting. They already got the spread out for that game.
Yeah, well, it's the opening spread. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. If I was to tease that, I could have 29 points. The Jets plus 29. I'm not sure they would cover that.
They wouldn't.
Right,
They
because
wouldn't.
Le'Veon's going to be also extra motivated. If he's playing
hell
even
yes.
decently, he's going to try to run people over and carry them into the end zone with the ball.
Yes.
Like he's going to hit them hard,
But
grab them,
at
and
the
then
same
keep going.
time, the Jets might be motivated
Yeah.
to stomp his ass too.
No.
Great.
The
Great.
Jets-
And if they
the
start
Jets
slowing
are
him down,
going
then
to be
we're going to
motivated,
act like
though.
we hand the ball to them and then just throw it right over the top of all their
Yeah,
plays.
that's humanly
They're not
possible.
stopping that either.
Yes. The one other thing that I wanted to add in this show was I've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire in 2 different fantasy leagues. Now what do I do? I mean, Jesus,
You got Le'Veon in some,
Le'Veon
too.
Bell,
You
and I
told me.
picked him up in 1 league.
You told me that. I actually got Le'Veon back. I had dropped him, and
Did
somehow
you?
you guys let me get him back in ESPN.
I'm just like,
I'm not playing him this week. I'm not sold yet, but
no, not after the week Hilaire had last week. I
Right.
mean, my guess is they're going to use him.
yeah, he's got to get up to speed in the game too, right? I mean, he's probably going to get some time, but
I
you still
think-
got to learn the game.
I think
plan.
Le'Veon scores a touchdown this week. Maybe he doesn't get a
That
ton
could
of
happen.
touches, but I think he gets a touchdown.
You know, after the
Edwards
way
Hilaire isn't
Hilaire
great at the
ran,
right, but he's not great near the goal line. And wasn't
No.
his touch where he had a touchdown? Didn't it get called back against
yes,
Buffalo?
that pissed
I was
me
like,
off
finally,
so
he got a
bad.
close to he got a red zone touchdown on the ground, and then they called it back on him.
Yeah.
So he hasn't, by the way, got a red zone touchdown. Hilaire.
Yes.
He's got it outside of the red zone.
I think Hilaire, with what he showed this week, is going to be their ground game. And then I think Le'Veon Bell's going to be that third down guy
Or
they pass it to. Or
The
just
goal
to
line.
spell Hilaire.
right, they
You know,
could
now he's
definitely
he'll
give it to him
take
on the goal
carries
line.
away
It's
from
bigger bodies to get it in
Darryl
there.
and Darwin and all
Yeah.
those other guys. Those poor bastards.
Thompson
you
ran
know.
pretty good though. Did you see
Yeah, he
that?
didn't
He's
run
a little
bad.
he's a little fire plug. Remind me of Darren Sproles.
Yeah,
And that,
a little-
that dude.
he's not
that
as
dude
big
was
as
running
Darren
hard. No,
Sproles.
but he was running pretty hard for a little dude. I was impressed.
Yeah. He looked good. So yeah, is there anything else that we've missed other than John needs to listen to me when I say when a coach is fired, the
Yeah,
team
I do.
wins the next week? I'm 2-0
Who's getting
right
fired
now.
next? So I can do that.
Adam
I'm
Gase.
not
Adam
picking
Gase.
the Jets. That's the one I won't
Well,
pick.
That's
no,
the thing. If
no.
Adam Gase gets fired, I still can't pick the Jets.
No,
So-
no.
Maybe on a parlay where the spread is ridiculous. Maybe I give him a couple.
Right. We'll see what happens to him this week.
Yeah. Anybody think any other coaches are going this year? I don't.
You know what?
Maybe
Did
not.
you guys?
Zimmer.
Not during the season, anyway. That's what I'm asking.
No,
Not
no.
necessarily at the
Minnesota
end.
Vikings.
During the season, okay.
No, end of the season.
No, yeah, during the season, I could see that if they keep playing like they've been, very inconsistent against bad
If
teams.
the Vikings start 1-8, they let him go.
Oh yeah,
All right.
If they get to 8 losses,
Now,
Delvin's
what
gotta get
about
him
all this
healthy.
dissension with Mike McCarthy in Dallas?
then he's got at
But-
least the
but-
full year.
Yeah,
Players throwing him under the bus.
his team is so bad without that. I mean, I don't necessarily blame it all on him.
Yeah.
they got to play.
That Cowboys team has
These
some
people got
major
hurt.
deficiencies.
I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere this year.
Their defense is horrible.
How about that NFC East? They're the leaders at 2-4.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Does anybody think that Philadelphia
tied with Philly? Come on, no. I was going to say this last week. They're saying Philly might get it because of their tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I think
Philly has a really good shot.
Philly is what?
Which is disgusting.
Are they 2-3-1?
It is disgusting.
Well, they did get it last week too. No, Philly's 1-4-1.
I was going to say they only have one win
behind right now. They're a half game behind Dallas, but they're playing the Giants this week, and Dallas is playing.
Washington.
Kyle Allen still has a chance.
And I saw that Kyle's supposed to be playing. I saw projections that he's going to score points. What happened to Alex Smith?
They
just put him back on the bench?
He has a broken leg.
No, he got snaps. He played.
No, I know he did.
Right. The first game Kyle Allen played, he got hurt, and so Alex Smith came in and played.
Alex Smith is the backup to Kyle Allen.
I got to be honest with you.
I'm shocked that
I don't think they want to play Alex Smith.
I don't think they do.
Why is he on the team?
Just because they don't want him to get hurt.
I know, but why have him on the team if you're not?
I know.
And I should be rooting for Kyle Allen, but it actually kind of ruins the fun of my teams in fantasy football if Kyle Allen actually plays and does well.
Yes.
That's not what I'm intending here. So
yes.
If he does, I actually do have to get him and start him on my team, and that is something I don't want to do.
Do you know what?
Mainly because he plays for Washington there.
Do you know what? I actually should grab Tua in sports line since I'm sucking anyway and just start him.
Yeah,
that's not a terrible idea.
I mean, Aaron only scored me 3 points last week, so it's like, hey.
I mean, you're gonna have to wait a week because he's on the bye this week, but
that's right. That's right. Yep,
do it for next week.
I guess I'll have to go with Aaron this week. Oh joy.
Horrible.
He might have a good week this week, though. You never know.
He's facing the Texans. I think.
All right. Does anybody remember, real quick? Does anybody remember what their Super Bowl predictions were? Who were your two teams?
Didn't I pick the
Chiefs and I think Chiefs and Seattle is what
I took Chiefs and Seattle.
Then I didn't take Seattle.
You picked the Saints.
That would make sense.
I want to say
yes, I did. You're right. And I said
the Chiefs and the Saints. I took the Chiefs and Seattle.
I want to say the Ravens and the Bucks.
You did say the Ravens. You
yes,
said the Bucks.
that is what you picked.
I'll still go with it.
The Ravens and Bucks. Yep.
So they're
I just wanted to kind of see
possible. They're all possible still.
We're all still in it.
Yes.
Yep.
Very possible.
All right.
Yeah. Now, John, stop being such a Buck hater.
Seriously.
I'm still a Buck hater. I'm still gonna sit with the Saints.
Did anybody notice though what a difference having Chris Godwin back made?
Oh,
huge difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge, and I think that's probably why maybe Gronkowski had such a good game because now you've got to pull that safety over.
Yeah.
Right, because you got Evans and you got Godwin. Yeah, shit. So, I mean, you can't cover those guys one-on-one. If you play zone, they'll kill you. So now you've got Gronk on some linebacker.
And that's why this team is so deadly.
Right.
So I wonder if Chris Godwin
offensive line didn't play like they did against Chicago either. I mean, they were terrible.
And Jones
and they made all kinds of mistakes, and they must have got their ass ripped.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't say Chicago beat the Bucks. The
Bucks beat themselves. They really did. Absolutely.
I mean, it's not the Bears and the Bears. What are they? 5-1.
5-1.
They are not a 5-1 team.
No,
guys.
But they might win again this week. I mean, I hate to say it,
they're playing
they might
such
not.
shitty teams.
Right. And their defense.
Now the Bucks
keeping them above water.
Good, but what's that?
So their defense might just continue to keep them above water.
They have a great defense. That's the thing. Thing.
I mean,
who did they lose to? Green Bay?
No.
Maybe.
I don't think they've played Green Bay yet.
Okay. Because I got to play them twice.
It was somebody. I don't know. Somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to start losing sooner or later. But
yes.
They're playing the Rams this week.
They're going to make the playoffs.
That's right. They could. If the Rams play like they did last week, they could win this, but they shouldn't. The Rams should win.
No, I took them.
Isn't good. But isn't it David Montgomery, their running back? He's running pretty well. So
yes, he is.
If he keeps doing that, they got a chance because
come playoff time, Foles goes to a whole new level. So
and he has his moments. He
does.
We'll see.
He's like Fitzmagic.
Yep,
he is.
You know, he's like Fitz. You know, he plays. He has a game, just lights out, and you're like, holy shit! Who is this guy? And then you're right. You will find him in a closet with Kyle Allen from behind.
And they're still trying to figure out who's getting to be on top.
Right.
No, you get bottom. No, you do.
All right. Well, listen, I bought some new beer too, so I'm ready
Nice.
for a couple shows.
I'm going to go low rent here pretty quickly, but I just, like I said, couldn't do it this week. So
yeah, no, you
I
need to
still
go
got a
low
good
rent.
variety.
Did you like me bringing in
I
Hot
love it.
Bullet?
I love it. I love it. If you keep
Yeah.
finding more,
I gave it a 6.5.
I
mean,
think we were so close that you just supported my review. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yours was a
you
low
said it in a
review.
different way, but we both basically got to the
I'd
same
say it's
result.
pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not for a double IPA. It's just not very strong.
Right. It wasn't horrible. It was good. I mean, 7's fine. It's a C in my book. It's right. It's above average, but it's not amazing.
I don't think it's a C. It flunked. But
my other Sierra Nevada IPA, if you can find that was Hop Hunter, I think.
Hop Hunter, yeah.
I gave that a better rating. If you can find that one, you'll probably like it more. If you can find that 40th anniversary that I drank early on, I think I gave it a 9 something. That was a black and gold label, way early in our show. That was really good because it's not an IPA. It's just one of their beers, but it's very tasty. Maybe it's an IPA.
I'll take a look. See if I can't find it.
It might be gone already. Like I said, it was 40th anniversary, so it's not like that.
If it's an anniversary one,
right? It was only this past year. I think I bought it last fall, so or early this year. So who knows?
Yep.
All right, guys. Good show.
All right, guys. Yep.